Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Oceana. Thank you for being here. Today I'm going to share all of the new authors that I read from in 2021, but only the ones that I actually enjoyed. I did read a lot of new authors to me, but I didn't love all of the books. So these are just the authors and books that I actually enjoyed, that some of them are my new favorite authors, some of them were just okay but like still good and I would read more from. So I'm going to show you all of the books. I actually have a ton to hold up, which is great. And then a couple to just show pictures. I was gonna say I was gonna start from like my very favorite to my least very favorite, but they're all crumpled at the top. Like, these are excellent authors. Like, some of these are truly new favorite authors, new favorite books. So there's like no order. The first one is Mind Games by Nancy Mehl. This is the first book that I ever read from her. I'm pretty sure I heard about her from Chantal Reads All Day, so I will link her channel. She is reading the new series that Nancy Mehl is putting out as well, which I haven't gotten to yet, but Mind Games was my first forte with her, and I really liked it. I actually have a whole review video reviewing the whole trilogy, so I'll link that down below too. But yeah, this was like Christian suspense, mystery-ish. The main thing that stands out to me is the faith in these books though. I just felt like the way that Nancy Mehl portrayed this character's faith was just in a way that I hadn't seen before, and I really loved it. It just spoke to me in a different way than I'd ever read. So it was really special that way. And then I thought the action with the serial killer and stuff, like all that psychology behind like, why do people do that, was just very fascinating, and I really liked it. There's also a couple of twists and turns, and I feel like it's semi-hard to predict who the killer is, what's actually going on. Like, it was great. So yeah, definitely a good action-packed thriller, mystery, suspense trilogy, and I definitely want to read more from this author. I think I'll stick with like similar genres, kind of. So my next one is Frank E. Peretti. He wrote This Present Darkness. I read this book and then also Piercing the Darkness this year, and I loved it. You already know. I have full review reading vlog videos for each of the books, so I'll link those down below too. I'd never read from Frank E. Peretti, but I did hear a lot about this book, and it intimidated me because I've never read a book explicitly portraying angels and demons before, and I just wasn't sure how I would feel about it, but it was just so good. It opened up my world to what could be going on spiritually, because the spiritual world is real, and I think we forget that because we can't see it, but it affects more than we know. And the beautiful, amazing thing that these books focused on is that prayer truly is powerful, and that God will move on your behalf if you pray. And it was just very encouraging. And then I found like the action scenes, and it was just very fun to read, and the redemption scenes, I loved it. So yeah. Wow, and I definitely want to read more from this author now. Okay, this one I read kind of earlier in the year, but I also have a totally separate video for it, so I'll link that below too. But it is Heart of Red, Blood of Blue by Rebecca Belliston. This came out of nowhere, and I loved it. This is kind of YA fantasy. Also, this book I'm pretty sure is free on Kindle Unlimited, so check that out if you want to read it, but I'm so thankful I have the physical book. I loved it. This book follows a princess who is the last living heir to the throne because there is an assassin guy going around killing her family. So the only people left are her and her dad, the king. So he like sends her away to like protect her and hide her, but he's actually not a very nice guy. So you think, oh, that's nice, he's protecting her, but then he ends up calling her back and tries to marry her off to a king from a neighboring kingdom who is like old and nasty. And so she's like, I can't do this. So she ends up running away. And one town that she ends up in has a lot of Christians in it, but like they never say Jesus, they never whatever, but they do like talk about their beliefs a little bit. So that was cool. But I think the amazing thing, first of all, the writing and everything was so good, but the twist got me so good. I literally had no idea. So amazing. I loved it, and I would totally read this again because I was blown away. And this author, seriously, she's on my radar. Okay, switching gears again. Catherine Center is also a new author that I discovered this year. I read Happiness for Beginners and What You Wish For. Of those two, because Happiness for Beginners was first, it has a special place in my heart, but I gave it 4 stars because there was like kind of a steamy makeout session near the beginning and it kind of threw me off, but the rest of the book was amazing and I loved it. So weird. But then What You Wish For, loved the whole thing, 5 stars, so good. And it actually is kind of a sequel to Happiness for Beginners because it follows the brother of the main character in Happiness for Beginners. So read them both, I would suggest it. But she seems to write almost like coming of age stories, kind of redemption stories, messy characters that are just trying to figure out life, and there's a romance. And I just love it. Happiness for Beginners is centered around like a wilderness survival course, which was super fun to read about, so you're outside most of the time. And then What You Wish For follows teachers and stuff going on at a school. It's so good, and I love her as an author now. Definitely want to read all of her books eventually. So happy that I discovered her. It was so random, but what a nice surprise. These are not Christian books, so sometimes there's swearing in them. Sometimes there's like kissing that might be a little more described than a Christian book would describe it. Anyways, I love it, so impressed, and I'm excited. Okay, another author that I discovered is Nicole Deese. I loved it. What's the book? Before I Called You Mine. I did read 2 of her books this year actually, but Before I Called You Mine is my favorite one. This also follows a teacher, so that's cool. And it also centers around an adoption story, so just a lot of things in this book were topics and issues that I hadn't read from before, or just like in a fresh way. This is a Christian book, and I felt like the faith was spot on. It was so good. It was so real, and the feelings of the characters, just I could feel what they were feeling, and I just thought it was really well written. She's a new favorite author for sure. Okay, next, T.I. Lowe is a new author that I also read from. This is Beach Haven. So I read her Carolina Coast series. It's a 3-book little trilogy, and I liked this first book the best. I was still impressed enough that I would read more from her, and then actually I watched a live podcast interview with her, and she's a really sweet lady, so I want to give her another chance and read more of her books because I just loved her story and her faith, and that really endeared me to her. So I really do want to read more from her now, and I did like Beach Haven. I gave it 4 stars. This follows a group of 3 friends. They are like really close, and each book follows one of their love stories. So in the end, I ended up enjoying it, plus there's good faith in it as well. So yeah, T.I. Lowe, definitely still on my radar. Next, I read from Betsy St. Amant for the first time this year. I read Tacos for 2, and this was so fun. I for sure want to read more from her books. So I think she does really well with like playful banter between characters. That's just like so witty and funny and like right on point. I wouldn't say there's explicit faith talked about in this book, but it's absolutely clean, and I will definitely read more from this author. And here we are to the last one. Do you know what it is? Probably my favorite one on this whole list. This Frozen Darkness, nothing can beat that, so never mind. Anyways, it's Tammy L Gray, come on. This is not the first book that I read from her this year, but it is a good one. How can I say favorite? Whatever. Love and a Little White Lie. This is the first book in a trilogy, I'm pretty sure. I think the 3rd book comes out in 2022. So excited. Also, look at this cover. Isn't it beautiful? This book is very funny and also so good. Like, the faith in it, everything. Okay, I think another major theme this book talks about is grief and kind of mental health as well. And it was so well done, so beautiful, such a great ending, a little bit of a mystery in there as well. It's amazing. I loved the 2nd book as well, so definitely a good Christian romance series to get into. Oh, so good. I could gush about this forever. But yeah, those are all of the new authors that I discovered. Some excellent ones, right? Like, oh, I'm so thankful. So yeah, I can't wait to see who I discover in 2022. Let me know if you've read from these authors and if you have another book by them that you would recommend, because I know that they all have other books out there and I just need to read them. So thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.